Welcome to Are You Open?
Where you're a victim, a volunteer.
Where you're not a victim.
Yeah, that's right. Where you're not a victim or a volunteer. Right.
To invigorating conversation. Are you open? Are you open? Are you open?
Are y'all open?
I'm open.
Are you? I am too. I'm open.
You open?
Absolutely.
Oh, you know me. I stays open.
Oh my God.
7-Eleven out this piece. Yes. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Are You Open? The new show. The new show with the wonderful crew that we have here with us. We got our boy in the building. Want to start us off tonight, baby?
So, Are You Open? So, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Nelly. Thank you, Jarrell, for joining this new journey that we're about to embark on. So, this title of Why You Open, where does it come from, right? About 2-3 years ago, no, longer than that, probably about 6 years ago, I was had a trouble with like communicating, right? Or how to receive information and how to deal with information. So I used to be real passionate about everything that I felt, and I didn't really I had a hard time kind of communicating what that actually was. So it was kind of taught to me how to process and talk and deliver and receive information. So basically how it kind of goes is, if there's a topic that's there and somebody asks you for advice, and you say, well, are you open? If the answer is yes, you continue the conversation. If the answer is no, means you don't really give a damn about what their opinion is or anything like that. Right. So then it's closed. The conversation should stop and y'all reconvene at a later date. So what that did for me is just kind of taught me how to deal with people communicating with me, whether I was open to receive information, whether I was open to learn or whatever that was, or if I was close to it. The key to that is hopefully that you'll come back later and get that jewel that they're going to drop on you, that advice or that whatever that looks like. So that's kind of how that came about, and I kind of use that in my personal life and my professional life also. So that kind of just came out to the show. We talked about what we were going to name the show. Are You Open? Was kind of the thing for me. So I thought it was dope. And I didn't even realize the hashtag AO was going to come, right? Ayo. So everybody used to do the AO thing. I don't know if did y'all used to do AO?
Ayo.
Who didn't? Come on.
I mean, you just never know. Maybe I felt like it was a New York thing. Maybe it wasn't. Sorry. Maybe it wasn't. So yeah, the hashtag AO is pretty dope. So y'all should probably see that everywhere. I'm probably going to use it on every post that I make or everything that I do. So, and these shirts, my girl Tiana that made the shirts. I'm going to shout out later, also with our card information for anybody that wanted to actually get shirts made. But I definitely appreciate it. So the question remains to you guys is, are you guys open?
Are you open? For those of you guys just tuning in, you are listening and you are watching the new show called Are You Open? Are You Open? Shout out to all the Hottest Live family who is tuned in here with us tonight. Shout out to the Facebook Live family. For those of you that's interested in being a part of tonight's show, you can download your app at the Google Store or your Apple, your App Store, and you can find us at The Hottest Live. You can just download the app, or you can go online at thehottestlive.com. If you want to call in and be a part of tonight's show, you can call in at 302-272-9772. And listen to this radio station every day, all day. They are playing music 24/7, different shows on the air. And just check them out, thehottestliveradio.com. So you're listening to us, the new show, Are You Open? And Corey just explained to us what this really means. And like you said, we used to the cat call, as they call it in New York, the AO. Like, pretty much, do I have your attention?
Right.
Are you
get your attention.
Oh, look, you're right. To get your attention.
Right.
Are you open to what's about to go down? Shout out to Ashley Burton, Mia Fields, Cheryl Werner, Rena Brown Skin Candy Girl. Thank you guys for tuning in to us tonight to the AO Are You Open show, the show where you're not a victim, you are a volunteer to invigorating conversation. So Corey started the question. You asked the question.
Yeah, so, and just for everybody to understand, if you tuning in, you listening, or you on Facebook Live, you volunteered. Right? And the question's not even asked you anymore.
Right.
So, the topic really tonight is how did each of us become open, right? So I think, through trials and tribulations in your life, whether it's positive, negative, or anything, those things allow you to open up your mind to receive, whether it's your blessings, your lessons, or whatever that looks like. It turns us to who we are today. And I think that's why we make a good trio sitting around this table. Right. I met Nelly, how long was it? A year ago? 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I think.
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, I met Nelly. I tuned into, to one of her shows, and I started, commenting, and I've always had a niche for just talking, I guess. Debating, that's my thing. And not debating that I'm always right, but I guess just debating to get information. So, we kind of connected, and I kind of attended a couple of her shows, and we just kind of connected that way. As far as Jarrell goes, I met Jarrell at work, right? Jarrell's one of the trainers, and we just happen to just connect every now and again. Right. Like, he'll walk into my office and just say some of the outlandish you ever would hear in your life. Like, he'll ask me some crazy question. What was one of the questions he asked me? Sade or Anita Baker? And before I could answer, he just walked out of my office.
Right.
So, challenged me to just go down the hall and just ask him, what the hell did that come from?
Exactly.
Right? Or he'll come into the office and ask some professional questions like that. So we kind of just talked and connected that way. And we've kind of built a friendship based off of conversation and growth, whether it's fatherhood, professionalism, music, or whatever that looks like. So, I thought it would be dope. Some of his ideas and how he thinks and some of the things that he comes up with, I thought it would be dope for him to be on the show also. So, I like to start off, Nelly. So, what leads you to be open?
What lead me to be open? So, coming from where I come from, it comes from a lot of being very judgmental, being very opinionated. But I realized, okay, they said technical difficulties. If you're tuning in on Facebook Live and you're not able to watch the show, go ahead and tune into thehottestlive.com, and you can actually hear the show live there. Thehottestlive.com, or you can download the app at The Hottest Live Radio.
So it'll be good. Just go to your app store. It was super easy.
Yeah.
and just type in the Hottest Live and just hit play. And
The Hottest Live Radio, yeah.
Hottest Live Radio, type it in.
Absolutely.
And download it. It's a dope radio station. I've actually listened to it today at work. Mm-hmm. A lot of good stuff on there. So download it and just press play. You definitely can just hear the show that way. But back to you, Nelly. So,
yes.
How did you become open, so to speak?
I think after going through the years of studies as a psychologist and the therapist and all of that, I realized that in order to really understand and to really live in my truth, I have to be open. To understand that things aren't always going to be my way. For a long time, I always thought, I knew it. I got all the answers, especially because I got the degrees. So it's like, yeah, I know the answers. I got it all, However,
right.
Truth be told, you don't know everything. And a lot of times we have to be open and really, in order to really understand what things are really about. Mm-hmm. And so that's what really caused me to be open. And also, going through my field, my studies, and studying in human sexuality. Everybody knows that sex is my thing. In order to really embrace and be sexually free.
Real quick, so anybody that's been a viewer in the past, you kind of already know this. Anybody that's a new viewer, this is who she is all the time. And it could just be random. We could be talking about wontons and chicken, and Nelly's going to make it some kind of sex, something into it. So
everything we do,
so don't be shocked.
Everything we do has some type of sexual correlation, some type of that can be, what?
That's not true. That's not true. There's probably a lot of things that I do that's not sexual at all.
I mean, just the way my mind works.
Okay. So it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
Right.
It's me. I'm open.
I'm close.
Right. So, anywho, but even sexually, in order to be sexually free, I always thought I was sexually free until I really came to understand what it was.
Right.
Because I was closed off to a lot of things. So I was like, I guess I'm not as much as the freak, quote unquote, as I thought I was. So I had to understand I can't in order to really embrace the woman I want to be, I thought I was, I had to be open.
Really?
And I don't mean just, I mean open to different ideas, perspectives, things. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at now.
That's what made you open.
That's what made me open. I want to learn. I want to grow. And I don't know it all.
Well, that's good. You don't know it all. So for me, what made me open, I think that, I'm 36 years old. And I think that life has taught me a lot. To your point, it taught me that I don't know every damn thing.
Right.
And everything that I felt that I was right about, I really wasn't. The idea really was that I just haven't been through it yet.
Right.
So when you experience certain things, then you kind of go into, oh wow, I'd never seen it from that perspective before. Right. So, whether it's being a father, that opened me up a lot. Being a father to my daughter, being a father to my son, being married before, losing my mom, losing my father, dating, getting that wrong, cheating, lying,
getting all that wrong.
Working, my relationship with God or my non-relationship with God. And not that I never had a relationship with God, it was just kind of in and out.
Right.
But I think, some of the strongest years come from, maybe 2012 when I lost my mom, and then 2017 was a hell of a year. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of emotional ups and downs, and really understanding Corey. But all of those things, and when God pulls you down and say, excuse me, sir, you don't run shit.
You don't run it.
You don't run it. So just kind of put your life on pause. Mm-hmm. But it allowed me to be open and not only just open for myself, but open to my friends and listening more and understanding that this my way wasn't always the right way. Right. Exactly. But also just listening to Corey and understanding that my voice matters also. And not placing my feelings and my emotions second, but first. So it just taught me a lot. It taught me how to recommit to being a father, recommit to being a man, and then recommit to my faith. Mm-hmm. So, in 2018, I plan on grabbing everything that I've asked for or wanted in the previous year. So this show was the first blessing for me, honestly, right? So thank you. It was something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I just never really got it off the ground, allowing other things to distract me. But at the end of the day, we here. I appreciate you again. Thank you. God put you in people's lives for a reason, and that's why you're here. So... Ayo to you. Ayo. So G, been around here working, taking out, fixing cameras and
Listen,
shit.
I did the best I'm gonna do. For now, I will get up again if necessary. So the first show, we try.
So back to the question is how do we remain open, right? So Nelly kind of went, I kind of went. Jarrell, so what arrives you to be open?
So here's the thing. For me, I would say I grew up in a space where I didn't have a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So for me, coming from where I came from, I know a lot of people who didn't make it, like who just ain't in a good space in life.
Right.
So, I mean, some people, for me to be 33, I ain't never been to jail. I ain't gonna stay.
You faded that out?
I mean, whatever it takes.
Right.
I ain't never, been shot, stabbed, like a lot of things that I know people who that has what's been their next step. Right. Mm-hmm. So that becomes very difficult and hard to digest, and that makes me have to appreciate where I'm at and understand that. Listen, I've seen some really bad guys do some really nice things, right? So to determine that they're all bad doesn't work that way. And I've just seen people who were just stuck in certain positions because they just couldn't get out their own way. I've been stuck in certain positions because I couldn't get out my own way or I didn't know any better. Yeah. Right. But coming to through growth, that's what's made me open because you never know, I guess, how great you could wind up. And by no means do I think I've made it at all because my sights are so crazy. But I do understand that for me to get where I'm going, I got to be open to trying new things. You can't be so stuck and limited, right? I know people who will stay in the same neighborhood. In their mind, they would stay in the same neighborhood their whole life because that was more convenient. Right? That's what they knew. They're technically afraid to leave, but if you ask them, they say they wasn't afraid of nothing.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, okay, you clipping your wings before they spreading, bro. Like you gotta. I know, sure. Try the calamari, fam. Who cares? Have fun. Right? For some people, it's not that easy to do, and so that's what keeps me open. Just because I've been to different places, and for me, it's like, okay, you got to remain open to grow. And the minute you start being closed off, you're closed off to new knowledge, right? And I'm not saying you open for everything, because I'm definitely not open for everything.
Right.
Well, why not? You're supposed to be open. See, being open though, it just gives you new insight, new adventures, it just kind of gives you new everything.
But you should always understand your limits and where your boundaries are.
Okay.
That's a fact.
You're right.
Definitely.
When people don't understand what their limits or their boundaries are, then they start going. They start being open for anything.
Right. That's true.
Right.
So
That's very true.
I agree. So to your point, Jarrell, like, can't be open to everything. Are you open means that I'm open to hear it. Doesn't mean that I'm open to do it. Right?
Okay.
So, what are some of the things y'all are close to? So, here's the thing. Some things you close to now. You say that.
As an adult.
Yeah. Not even as an adult. This year.
Oh, okay. You want to start, Jarrell?
I'm gonna go back. So here's my thing. I'm closed off to judgment for no reason. Mm-hmm. Now this goes back to something else for me. Now I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. So with being raised a Jehovah's Witness, certain things were just off limits. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with them. Like, that was a thing it taught me a lot of lessons. Right? I can't say I didn't know what was right or wrong. You know what I mean? It's just not the way that I walk right now. Okay? Right. Not what I'm choosing to do. But with that said, you're pretty much taught to not conform in a lot of ways. Right? Then celebrate holidays. Going to the hall 2 or 3 times a day. There was just certain things we did in a different way. Mm-hmm. So because of that, it was just like, okay, I didn't subscribe to certain judgments because people judge me. Mm-hmm. So, all right, so now I can't be open to judgments for no reason. When people have no tape and they just going on, that's all you got? That's what you're going over?
Right.
You're not open.
It's a fact. Being judged is a horrible thing.
Well, I mean, let's go here.
It's
Because I know I'm going to say that. That's where I was going to come back.
Let's come out of your mouth. Okay.
It's necessary because I'm going to say the Bible talks about judging righteously, though.
Right.
So, I mean, like you said, it's necessary to some degree. But like you said earlier, you got to know your boundaries. You got to know your limits.
Yeah, I think, not judging, I guess judging sometimes, I guess you say, is necessary. But just because I judge it, I change the word. Just because you into it, it's just not my cup of tea.
Don't change the word.
Right, I mean?
Yeah,
so
judgments.
Yeah, but judgment for me, I can go another way.
Right. Soften up the word judges. Don't let me get me started.
Right. So I think it's just not for me.
But free him.
And for that, it's really not for me to be involved with. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Doesn't mean what you're doing, how you're moving is not for you. It's just not for Corey anymore. So
can the saying, you don't have to like it, but you gotta respect it, go with that?
It should go with that.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, because that's just something I like to throw out there. And it sounded like what you were saying, like, I may not be for it, but it's cool if that's what you do.
Yeah, I respect you for that.
Yeah.
See, and that's the problem. Right? You live in a world where a lot of people don't respect each other to have a different opinion, have a different mindset, to have a different focus. People don't respect each other to do that. So in their mind, your opinion needs to be my opinion. The way you feel about it has to be the way I feel about it. Right. If it's not, then you're a hater.
Right.
So many people walking around closed-minded that they're not open to anything.
I used to be the same way. I think that was the thing, the biggest eye opener for me. And then like to hear your friends or people that you care about tell you like, nah, you're judgmental. I was like, what? I don't feel like I'm judgmental at all.
You don't fool with it, or because you don't agree with it?
No, I think that I think to Jarrell's point, I used to just, if their opinion didn't match mine, their opinion wasn't valuable to me, and that's not fair.
But we're all judgmental, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So but it's just judging off of merit as opposed to judging off of random. That's what you look like. That's how you walking. You probably this. You probably that. Because there was a time when I know for a fact. When the jeans was on sag, the fitted was on tilt, you couldn't tell me that there wasn't a lot of people judging me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at the time, there were people telling me, listen, they're judging. You might want to know how to flip your swag for different occasions.
Right.
And I had to learn, like, oh, wait, no matter how good you are at something, there are people who have to be around you, and they will judge you based on what they want. Now, your conformity only comes at what you are willing to sacrifice. Right? That's where that line has to be at, where what you're willing to sacrifice and where you're willing to grow. And is there a medium? Right? Because whose rules you playing by, but who's cutting the check?
Right.
It's just
yeah. So, I mean, I agree with that, too. You have to show up and wear different hats in different places, but you still be authentic to yourself. And I think that's important. Just be authentic to yourself. Doesn't mean you have to trade who you are in for what they want you to be.
And that's something I had to learn, and I had to learn early on, because like you just said, Nelly's going to be who Nelly is. That's regardless. And even when, as some people don't know, but I am an ordained minister as well. And when I became an ordained minister, I could get the side eye like, "Get her, shut up, she ain't no minister." But I really am. Got licensed, went through the training, I did it all. And I did think to myself too, even with the radio show, even with teaching about sexuality, my first thought was like, how am I going to still do that and be a minister? I didn't ask for this, because even when I was, so-called called, I was like, you sure? I knew in my heart what it was, but I just knew I was not like your average ministers that you see and how we grew up. So I automatically had a judgment in my head of like what they are going to perceive me to be, or what I'm supposed to look like. Clearly, I don't look nothing like it. I'm going to stay with the color hair. I'm going to stay with the crazy nails. I'm going to stay being me. That's not how I know a minister to be. But I had to realize that, I have to continue to be me and still be used in a way that I was ordained to be used. It's just not going to be like everybody else's. But like you said, it's a time and a place. So there are some times I may have to kind of ream in the sex talk, but not saying I have to completely stop the sex talk.
Right.
It's just about, how we operate with it, right? So I had to learn that.
Fact. Some of y'all out here want to talk about sex a lot in church. So relax.
But that's the thing. That's the reason why I like doing what I'm doing. I like that wow factor, because when I do bring it up in church, everybody's clutching their pearls. But you sleeping with that one, you sleeping with this one and that one.
Right.
You married and still sleeping with that sister on the side. Like, stop.
Right.
Stop
sure.
it.
They looking for the healing.
Huh?
They looking for the power.
They need
the
more.
healing.
They need power plus.
However they can get it.
So, my thing is, because that's the truth that I live in. That's the, openness that I'm aware of. So, I'm going to bring it to the church.
Right.
Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about masturbation. And yeah, clutch your pearls. But I know you got the 3-headed dildo in your drawer. Let's stop.
3 heads?
Does it ever make it difficult? Do people ever make it difficult when you're there? Or how do they make it difficult when they don't receive it?
Well, the most I've ever gotten was the judgmental stares. The looks.
But they still listen though. They still don't get up.
Right.
They be like, but still talk about that.
Right. Thankfully, knock on wood, nobody's ever came at me or came for me. Questions were thrown my way that thankfully I've been able to kind of answer or, make my way through. But no one has ever came for me.
Nobody ever came for you?
No.
Really?
They in church, Corey.
What that mean?
Please, they don't.
They come for you hard in church.
Run down the holler at you?
They come for you mad hard.
Absolutely.
And they ain't never open. Hey, you need to hear this. In the church. Hey, get open. Because it happens. It happens. Shout out to all our Facebook Live followers, which is not many today. I think the system is the camera's not doing what it's supposed to do. But shout out to Greg Banks, Thomas Ortiz, Greg Wilkerson was up here, Leosha Stanfield. Shout out to all of you guys. Yes. So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so, I think that, the thing about this show is that we'll definitely share our experiences of how open that we are to different topics. Anything, honestly, could go. I'm very curious to the topics that people really want to discuss. But I plan on being 1,000% authentic and honest in everything that I talk about. Don't get offended.
Then what makes it hard for you to be open?
What makes it hard for me to be open?
Yes, what are some things that make it hard for you to be open?
Yes.
What makes it hard for Corey to be open?
Yes.
I think closed-minded people. I think people that don't know how to listen. I think that people that always want to hold you back to being the old you, right? I think that type of shit irritates me. But I think here's the thing: you can, if that's your last experience with me or your last experience with a person, that's where they leave you at. So you kind of hold them to that space. But at the end of the day, have that conversation, the journey with me to walk to me where I'm at. That's all. Just don't approach me there and just leave me there.
Right.
You know, I don't like that type of stuff, man. I hate that shit. Like, but I think that's just the stuff that closes me. I don't like negativity. I'm pretty much an optimistic person for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Right.
Like 95% of the time. I'm kind of optimistic. But no, I can't deal with negativity. I can't deal with a lot of fake shit. At the end of the day. But I mean, I think we just all have to rid ourselves of and be honest with who you are, I guess, at the end of the day, man. Really nobody cares. Really nobody cares, but I've learned that a lot too. So I mean, I think those are the things that keep me closed and make me revert back to the hashtag asshole that I can be, I think. What about yourself?
You can be an asshole.
Me? Hell yeah. Yeah.
Things that make me close. Condescending people. Like, I hate to be talked down to. It shuts me down. I stop caring. I ask a lot of questions, so if I don't understand, I have no problem just saying, yo, what's this? What's going on? Da-da-da, what do you mean? Let's clarify. Right. I love to clarify. I'm a clarifying type of
Right.
I'm a clarifying type of nigga, I ain't gonna lie. So, okay, like we gonna break it down. So when somebody's talking down to me, I don't even want to listen because you're not even talking to me as if you're open to conversation with that, or as if you're talking to somebody who you want to receive it, right? So that instantly closes me. I hate people who, not hate, but I get closed around people who live in their own reality to the point in which they don't respect others. Right? And I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes it's like, listen, you can live in your own reality, right? Like my reality don't exist. I'm okay with it. I really don't care. But I need you to still respect my reality.
Right.
Like, listen, if this is how I'm living my life, if this is how I'm moving through these, I don't need extra stuff if I ain't asked for it. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that said, this is gonna sound crazy. With me, when people come to me with certain situations, I have to find myself asking them, do you want feedback, or am I just a sounding board?
Right.
Yeah, well, you have to ask that though.
Because I just go in.
Yeah.
Listen, this is all right. Well, you did this, you did this, and this is where you're at in your situation.
Right.
Period. You know what I'm saying? But some people don't just want to. They want to vent, and that's what it takes for you to be like.
I found over the years that's something that you have to ask. Because me being a therapist, I'm always in the mode of helping people, but I realize everybody don't want help. Some people just want, like you said, a sounding board. Some people just want to vent. And they don't always clarify that in the beginning of the conversation. So I'm like you. I have to be like, okay, hold on. Do you want me to give you feedback? Because anybody that comes to me, and my girlfriends always know that, don't go to Nelly if you don't want to hear the truth. If you don't want to hear the truth, then don't come talk to me. Because I'm going to come tell you, yo, you was wrong for that.
Right.
Or are you just venting? I have to do that too. Because you're absolutely correct. People don't want to hear it.
I sucked at that. And I never realized I was doing that. Like, to your point, I think I just went in for a long time. I never really asked, do you really want advice? But I think that spins the, are you open or you closed, I guess. But you're right. I used to be the same way. Like, you sounding bored, or you really want me to give you advice?
Right.
And that kind of changes. And people will approach me now and say, I just need you to listen. Don't say shit.
Right.
Right? Then I'm like, all right. But what I find is at the end of that conversation, they're like, well, what?
Now they expect you to say
Now you expect me to say something.
Right.
I'm like, well, are you open? Right?
Nope.
I'm about to light your ass up. But, you know, but that's just what it is. So, but I realized for me, I didn't have that person in my life, though.
Right.
I didn't have a person that was going to check me. Right? So, that's very, very rare. I think somebody asked me, well, who checks you? Right? And I was just like, I had to really think about it. Like, shit. Nobody. And not because nobody can. It's just that they just don't.
Right.
But I've definitely been fortunate over the past year to have some people pull my coattails and say, you are fucking it up bad. Right?
Messing up everybody.
Yeah, messing up everybody. So, kind of do with that and kind of over with that type of reckless behavior. But I think, to your point, I mean, I think that's the biggest piece is recognizing where you are and where you're at. So,
for me, to answer the question, which was, what keeps you from being open?
Yeah.
Everything you guys said, I agree totally 100% with. A negative person, first of all, and a corny person. When I say corny, I mean it in the way of being corny, like they're a cornball. But secondly, I mean it in a way of a person that's lying to themselves. And you know, like they know the truth, but they're constantly lying to themselves. And it's annoying to me. And it just makes me shut down. Like, we don't even need to have a conversation.
What's corny? We were talking about that on the drive down here, right? And Jarrell
cornball
jumped down my throat. Not pause, but
no,
you know. But he kind of was just like, you know, why does it matter? Why does it matter? I just feel the need to call the bullshit out. Like,
right. That's how it is, though, right there.
But then I'm like, well, do I feel like I'm being attacked? And that's why I feel like I had to go check it. But I think it depends on what it is and who it is, though. I think I very much so used to be the person like, I smell bullshit.
And because you know the truth behind the BS.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what makes it really. That goes back to what I just said. You know, somebody who you know they lying to themselves. Like, you know the truth. For instance, you came to me, you told me the real deal, but now you posting on Facebook something totally different. Really? Like, that's the point. What are you doing?
But see, and I get into here's where I feel like you let the losers lose while you're winning. Like, and so if somebody is in that space where that's what they feel they need to do, sometimes people need to create a narrative because they're not open to themselves. So they gotta figure out what story they want to tell to make people okay with it or to make themselves okay with it. It actually happens every day, big. People create whole stories around stuff just to make themselves look better and feel better.
That's crazy.
And it's not up to me to give it energy. Because for what? When you're winning. Like, and even if I'm losing, I need to start winning so I can get time to give people who, you know, need to create narrative energy. They're giving time creating narrative. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you doing with your life?
That's a fact, though. I think that I'm still growing through that process. I'm still learning how to. I think you told me last week that I like to control my own narrative, which is very true. But I think that I'm starting to let some of that go because really, at the end of the day, you can't really control it. Right.
You're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Think about this. You're telling me you're going to let go of controlling narratives? You're speaking the narratives every week. At 9, by the way. You can go to thehottestlive.com or download the Hottest Live app. Okay? You know, I'm just saying. But you still are giving a narrative every week. So you are controlling a narrative even more than you were before.
I think now I get to speak about it. So I think before I used to I wanted to control it to a point where I went to anybody and everybody personally. It was just like, this is really what happened. I don't really need to do that. So, to your point, now you put a microphone on my face and
so there's a level of accountability now.
Absolutely.
Especially with microphone.
Now here's the thing. Now I really gotta be authentic.
Right.
Right?
Wait, you didn't have to be before?
Nah. Because to the point, nobody was checking me.
Right.
Nobody was gonna check me. Now everybody's definitely gonna check me, right? So
they're gonna be like, well, because you said
right
on the podcast.
Absolutely, you said on the podcast. So now you really gotta be authentic. So you know, that's just what it is. That's what it's gonna be. So
keep the same energy.
Absolutely.
I said what I said. That's what you're gonna do.
Absolutely.
You gonna be that guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Nene.
Hell yeah. Yep.
So what opens you up? Like, what can make you open when you're closed?
For me, honestly, just being real, being relatable, facts, calling me out. I mean, in a respectful manner, you know, calling me on my stuff, you know, because sometimes I need to be checked. You know, sometimes I need to kind of wake up the call. And my thing is this, because I am aware of that and I try to live mindfully, I don't like having to go back and apologize to nobody. I really don't. So I really try to play, I don't.
You don't like to apologize?
I don't like having to go back and apologize.
Like you.
No, but let me tell you. But the reason why I don't like, not that I won't do it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'll do it. I'm woman enough to own mine.
Right.
Definitely woman enough to own mine. But I don't like having to do that. So because of that, I always play the tape all the way through.
Right.
Before I open my mouth.
Okay. So you're saying because you dislike it so much, because nobody likes to apologize, right? Nobody's waking up in the morning like, I can't wait to give out this fresh apology. Nobody wants to do that, right? So what you're saying is you hate it to the point in which you're extra careful about your words.
Absolutely.
Because you don't want to have to apologize later.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And to me, that's being mindful. That's living mindfully. That's actually, like I always tell, we always say this when I used to work at the prison, play the tape all the way through before you open your mouth. So that's just what I do.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
What makes you open when you close?
Understanding. I think when I trust the intent of the person that I'm talking to. Honestly. And it really doesn't matter who it is. If your intent is to really listen and gain understanding as to what happened or what the situation is or my opinion or something like that, then I'm more open to talk and more open to just have an open dialogue. Again, negativity, I hate that shit. I can't stand it. I think that there's certain people in your life that will make you open, just because you care about those people enough. And I think those things. I think honestly, prayer makes me open now. It helps me see things a lot different, and it motivates me in a different way today than it did before. Because I pray with purpose. I always have.
Praying with purpose, that could preach.
Yeah. So, but I pray with an expectation. But I understand. I went to church Sunday, and the pastor was talking about, everybody prays for the blessing, or they want the blessing, but they don't really want to do the work to get to the blessing. So I understand that when I pray, that I have to do work to get to where I need to get to.
Yeah, faith without works is dead.
Yeah, and He's going to bless me because He always has. But I believe that. So at the end of the day, those are the things that kind of make me open. And honestly, when it comes to even I think about with a stranger, how does a stranger make me open? Somebody just walks up to me but I think I get a feeling of whether you're genuine or not. Are you fronting? And if you are, then I just step away from you. I think the people that are sitting around this table, while we didn't grow up together, right? I think you guys have allowed me to be open in a lot of different ways. Jarrell definitely, in a lot of situations. Corny with music, but I'm not gonna hold that against him. Yeah, he just says the most outlandish shit ever.
By the way, this is just me ignoring the losers. This is my ignore the losers face.
Whatever. And definitely Nelly. She's definitely allowed me to be open and things like that. But you have to trust the intent of the people that you're talking to and where they're trying to take you. It's a big deal. You don't trust it, then you're always looking for the curve.
Real quick before you answer, Deidre asks, is being open related to how you're raised? Is being open related to how you're raised?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Being open is completely how I was raised.
Right.
Like literally, like I said, from being around bad guys who did nice things. Like how do you not wind up being less judgmental on the next person or being more open to different ideals? And then on the other hand, having one idea of what quote unquote corporate America or professionalism is versus what I felt like it should be, and then having to learn that hard lesson as well.
Right.
So both of those things definitely opened me up just from living life and being raised to understand.
Right.
Yeah, I can agree with that, how you was raised. I mean, but I think how you were raised either expands or limits your experience. So if you're not experienced to certain things, you're just kind of close to it. And you may just say no, like you made the joke about try to calamari. Not ordering that shit. Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it might taste good, right? Yeah. And it sounds corny, but that's real,
you won't know
right? You won't know until you try it. So at the end of the day, I think that just being open to things outside of your growth path is important. But you got to experience that. You got to want that, though. A lot of people walk around and we kind of closed off to what we don't understand.
Is there a difference between experiencing it and wanting it? Like you said, in order to experience it, you have to want it. Like, is there a difference between the two?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that I have to want to experience it. If I don't and I'm not with it, then I'm just not with it. But I think you have to trust either the person or the process that you're going down to even want to experience something like that. So
I think it kind of goes to the thought of being open, right? So you can experience being open, but if you don't want to be, then the experience won't add to you. You see what I'm saying? Like you're living off of you're being reactionary, right? You're not doing you're not moving for your own experience, for your own growth, hell, for your own plan or fun or whatever, right? You're moving. That's what people hate being forced. Like, people hate being forced because you're telling them you got to do this. All right, well, if you're forcing me to do something, fam, I'm close to any positive that can come from it, right? Because I'm being forced. So, right, and also to that point, I think that closed-mindedness, it comes from being raised. I think that a lot of people are closed. When you close off of things, it's typically based on how you were raised, what you've experienced throughout life, what you're taught, since a youngin'. All right, don't do this, or you should do that. All right, well, that comes to where you're at. And, there's certain things I've been closed off to since birth. Probably won't drink.
So let me share an example of what you just said, because it's funny. This happened today. So you know, it was around lunchtime, and my little boo thing, he wanted something to eat, right? So I was like, okay, I need to go shopping, and the chicken was cooking. So he was like, go ahead and just.
So he wanted you to cook?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I thought you wanted to like go take him food at work or something.
No. He wanted me to cook something and bring it to him.
Oh, shit.
But I was just like, yeah, I was willing to do that. He deserves that. But anyway,
shout out to Boo Thing.
I'm not calling a grown man Boo Thing. Like, I'm not even calling him that.
Here's
like,
the thing.
Shout out to BT from wherever he from, man. He ain't from the one block, bruh. That's what you BT to me. I don't know you, cuz. So like, matter of fact, please.
Y'all stupid. No,
he had a job.
So he has a job.
He better.
So he said, he's like, go ahead and just, you know, you can make a tuna sandwich and bring it to me.
Okay.
And I looked at the tuna can, and I called my girlfriend, and I was like, okay, like, this is going to sound crazy. I never ate tuna. So I didn't know. I wasn't judging it, but I'm like, I don't know how to make it. Mm-hmm. Like, so I was like
tuna fish?
Like tuna fish. We didn't grow up on tuna fish.
Right.
So I didn't know how to make it. And she
you
was
didn't
like,
think about Google? I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm close. I'm just saying.
I just called my girlfriend because she eats it all the time. So I was like, okay. I was like, yo, tell me how to make this real quick. I don't know what. I don't know.
Look it up.
And I felt kind of bad because I'm like, dang, like, now that you that, like for real, you don't know how to make tuna?
Right.
I've never eaten it. And the funny thing is, my girlfriend was watching my son, and she offered him a tuna sandwich, and he was like, I don't know what that is. Yeah. Because we don't eat that. So it's like, I've never eaten it, even growing up.
Right.
So I don't know I don't know how, I don't know.
You just gonna Google tuna fish sandwich? So how'd you make the tuna fish? I need to understand.
Well, I mean, my girlfriend told me, like, a little bit of mayonnaise, drain the water off, a little bit of mayonnaise, a little bit of salt, pepper.
So why you have it in your cupboard?
I just bought it, like, a just in case.
Oh, shit. Just in case I don't know how to make it?
No, just in
like
case.
Perishable food? Not perishable food?
Like non-perishable food. Like,
it's
just in the closet. Just in case type situation.
I got you.
But I felt bad because when I told him, he was like, yo, you don't know how to make tuna? Like, we just trying to say you better than everybody else. No, it's not that. We just never was raised on it. I don't know. Like, I'm not judging it. Like, I did the best I can. I hope it tastes good.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I'm just saying. So, yeah, but we were never raised on it. So I felt kind of like, oh, snap. Like, and my girlfriend was like, well, you think you too good? No, I bought it because it's a non-perishable good. And I was willing to figure out how to do it if I was in need of eating.
Right.
I mean, I don't have no money.
Well, that's big. So did you take him the sandwich?
I did.
All right. Did he like it?
He did.
He was frying?
Huh?
He really liked it?
I don't know. He said he liked it. I don't know. He might have been frying. But I made it the way she told me to make it.
That's what's up.
Was it afterwards?
Huh?
Like, was it after y'all had finished?
We had finished what?
You said that was yet.
No. He said what?
Oh, well then, yeah. So then, I mean, it might have been okay.
He didn't say a word.
Because if he had just finished, that was a good ass sandwich. No matter what she gets to it. He's like, that's a bad ass sandwich, babe. Bring me in. But instead, you know, he probably
he's at work. Because I work from home sometimes, so I was at the house. He's like, go ahead, whatever.
That's what's up.
Some chicken, so chicken wasn't done yet. But I just felt crazy because we didn't grow up on that. So I felt like I was kind of judging myself, like, dang, like, you too good to make tuna. I don't know how to make tuna.
You was close to tuna?
I was close. Only because he wanted it, so I opened up.
Well, that's what's up. And I mean, who's the person that can open you the most? Oh, shit.
In what way?
Well,
honey, the power of the penis is real. Let me tell you. Hey.
Oh, wow.
Listen.
That's what you're lying to? Some fresh dick, and the next thing you know, you're like, "What?" Like I just don't know. Like, is that? I've seen some fresh dick open them up. You're like, "Hey, man, you were never the stalker type."
That's a fact.
You have nothing to do with just have hobbies. Okay, what happened to your hobbies? Where did they go? You know,
the power of the penis and the pussy is awesome. It got some power. It ain't got all power. That's God, but you know. It got some power with it.
It's like third. It's like third
on the chain.
It's like third.
Yeah.
What's number two? What get you open number two?
Right?
So God gets you open.
God.
Then there's something else that gets you open.
Right.
And it's the power of the pee.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's number two? What's
number
gets you
two?
Open? Number two to open up Corey.
Here's the thing. I don't want to say what number two is, Because it shouldn't be that close to number 3.
It should be that close to number 1.
Hell no. I mean, people understand.
It is what it is. Are you open to being honest, Corey?
Here's the thing. Let me just be clear. Number 3 is not penis on my list anyway. So
Clearly.
You concur with this whole shit, bro.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
that's
The vagina is amazing. What's going with that? That's what you was going with.
Okay. Anyway, move ahead.
Okay.
So what are you going with? So top 3 things.
It's the power of the pussy for Corey.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Don't feed me to them.
No, not at all. Power of the pussy is not on my top 3 at all. Thank God, my children for sure.
Absolutely.
'Cause they've grown to check the hell out of me. What else? And honestly, I my family. I think my girl. I think all of that. I think the people that you trust the most, people that you spend the most time around, will open you up to stuff like that. I think that, but for me, it's about the intent. I have to trust the intent of where you're trying to take me. If I feel like you're trying to exploit me, I have a huge issue with that.
Well, trust, right? That's a trust thing.
Yeah.
So trust opens you up.
Yeah.
When trust gets sacrificed, it's hard because now people watching their boundaries. I gotta watch my limitations with you because I can't.
But for me, I think I didn't realize how big trust was. But I never realized how big our trust was until I allowed my trust to be questioned. Right? So, like, throughout my dating life, I've trashed a lot of people. Just being a straight, selfish dickhead. Right? So for me, not really, it wasn't a malicious thing, but regardless of the fact.
I trashed a lot of people.
Yeah, I definitely trashed a lot of people.
I bet it felt malicious as fuck. I just want you to know, the feeling was super malicious.
Yeah, it wasn't malicious. But I think just knowing yourself and knowing what you're doing. But like I said, sometimes things have a way of humbling your ass. So that was done. So, as I move forward in life, I plan on just not being a part of that shit anymore. So,
life has tenderized you, my brother.
Tenderized?
Life will tenderize that ass.
They call me tender?
Listen, life gave you 100 lashes. What you want from me?
I'll take the lashes.
Life gave you 100 lashes.
Don't tender me.
It has softened you up.
Hell yeah. So, I mean, as Kevin Hart said, God gave you a gut punch to your stomach.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think, my children, to look at them and see how they want to view their father is a big damn deal. And then, to have your kids sit you down and be like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right.
You bugging. So, I mean, I think that don't open you up. You got a problem.
If I want to add to mine real quick, because a penis do open me up when it comes sexually.
Well, Nelly, we know that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let me reiterate. I think self-love, where I am now on my journey of really growing and learning Nelly and understanding who she is, and actually embracing her. Self-love really has, it's opened me up. Because through my journey of weight loss and everything else, and just successes in life, which I thank God for. It's really opened me to realize, it's caused me to realize that I could be open and it's okay. So self-love, we can add that. That'll be number 2 for me.
Self-love?
Okay, so it'll be God, self-love.
Got you.
My son.
Got you.
And then the penis.
Hey, just got bumped down.
Let's give it up for penis being bumped down. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jarrell?
What opens you up?
See, when I think about faith, when I think about God, I think about faith. That's where I guess a strong part of what leaves me open, what opens me up, is more so having faith. Because sometimes I've learned that if you don't trust the journey, you can fall short. Right? Like you gotta be aware that, and you gotta know that it's gonna fail. Like sometimes it's gonna go left. I don't even want to say fail. Like it's just gonna go left. All right, can you recover? It's not gonna be easy. Right? But sometimes having that understanding, it's having that faith, just knowing that you can move through and you'll survive. You survive worse. I kind of live by that model, like you'll survive worse. You'll be alright. You know what I mean? Right? And that's the bounce back. So I would say, definitely faith. 2, open the most. Depends on what I guess kind of like you. It depends on what the point is. Right. So I'm open for things that are about progress, but it has to be in the direction. So there are people who I'll engage in conversation with, but I know if they're on surface level, I'm not going deep. For what? Mm-hmm. I can tell. I know where you're at with this. You're not getting ready to tell me about what happened between the tackles. You only know the names and stars, right? Like, we're not getting ready to do this. Right. I'm not talking X's and O's with you. You don't care about the plays.
Right.
You saw the highlights and that was good enough. Cool. I'm good with that. Right? So you know, but when somebody's coming to add something, I'm like, oh, wait, you getting in between the tackles. I didn't even know between the tackles. Oh, wait, I didn't know about that. Now I'm open to understanding new knowledge, especially when it's supported, you know, in whatever direction it's coming from. But if it's going to lead to me having growth, and sometimes you gain knowledge and you don't even know what you're going to do with it till it hits. You're like, oh, wait, that's why I figured that out. Because now I can use it here in this other progressive way. So I'm definitely, it has to be that. My kids, right? That's a thing. You know, there's two and a baby, you know. So outside of random conversations, and every once in a while I've had them, like random conversations with my kids, just to be like, you know, why not? That's how you feel. I don't know what you're saying. You know, you're 4 months old, but you feel like you gotta get this out. Okay, I get it. I understand. I know that feeling. Right. I know that feeling. Right. So there's that. Like I said, just seeking growth and wanting to be better, wanting to not be stuck in the same mindset that I've been in. Yeah. You know what I mean? So many people wake up without wanting to be better every day. So what are you waking up for? To be average? Like, who cares for average? Like, average people get in the way. and don't get me wrong, the majority of people are average, right? A lot of people are average, but the average people get in the way. Are we going to be great? Like, is that what you're trying to be? Or are you just trying to be mediocre? If you're trying to be mediocre, go to the left, and that's fine. If you're trying to be great, right? Come on, we all going together. We do like the map. Okay, and if you're trying to be average, why are you here?
Yeah. I dig it.
Deidre Jones says, why is it easier to be open to strangers? Random strangers will tell you their whole life story, but the person next to you won't tell you they hate your mac and cheese. Laugh out loud.
What the world?
That's a fact, but that's because of judgment, right? So, as a performer, I have performed more in front of random strangers than I have in front of people who I knew. Right now, part of that is because I've just been other places when I perform. But part of that is, I want to curate this for the ones who I care about the most, because when they see this, I need this to come up a certain way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So some people worry about that judgment.
Right. But then on the flip side, they got the saying that says, you hurt the ones closest to you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, does it go both ways?
I think it goes both ways. I think that you sometimes tend to hurt the people closest to you because maybe you take them for granted to a certain extent.
You're around them the most, right?
You know what I mean? So you feel like they know you, or you feel like you know them, and that they're gonna ride with you through some bullshit. Strangers, it's just like starting your credit from zero again. You get a chance to recreate yourself with somebody that that don't know you, and vice versa. So, but, you know, I don't tend to rock in that stranger space too much. I kind of stick with the people that I know, and that's it. So.
Well, no, I think the theory was more so that a stranger can open up to you. You got somebody who you don't know tell you a whole everything, but then the person who knows you won't actually come and give you that same type of information.
That's true. But I think my experience may be slightly different. Mine's just kind of both. I think people that are strangers that will walk up to me and tell me their whole life story, and the people that are closest to me will continue to tell me the same thing. So, but I think it's just the way you make them feel when you speak to them, or when you allow them to speak to them,
or their perception of you before they speak.
Absolutely,
right? Because I've seen people who had a perception of somebody that was in this space, but didn't know if you come and talk to them, they're gonna tear all that down. Now, some people, if you catch them in the crowd, they're not open. You catch them in the wrong circumstance changes a lot, right? Like you come and talk to that person in that circumstance. Now they biting your head off.
Right. Right. Greg says, what if you're being open to a closed person that can't receive you for some reason? Does that mean they have no respect for you? Or is it something they are not being open about themselves? That's a total shutdown for me.
I think we know the answer to that question, honestly.
Do we? Do we know the answer, Corey? Yeah. What's the answer, Corey?
Yeah. I think, I listened to watch Iyanla Vanzant Fix My Life a couple months ago. And she says, especially speaking to men, you know the answer already. You just act like you don't. Because you want the circumstance to change so bad that you're willing to look past left, right, or different, but you know the answer. Just trust that you know the answer and trust in yourself, right?
So people don't just be wrong sometimes?
But I think after you can't be wrong after it continues to reveal itself over and over and over and over again.
When people are looking at the same situation over and over again and now expecting something different, well, they become crazy, right?
Yeah. But again, it doesn't mean that, and this is Corey's growth moment, doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
I've seen bad people do great things.
Right shit. But you just can't stand next to me no more.
Right.
And that's cool.
But and even standing next to is even about visibility. Like sometimes I can't. It's about there's a difference between I can't have that energy with me at all, and I can't. And I gotta watch where that energy is around. Right. This is why I say, what opens me up depends on what the expertise is. Right. I'm great at compartmentalizing. If that's where you fit, that's where you fit. Cool. Okay. Don't cross that line. That's where you at. You fit over there.
Right.
Right. Got you. That makes sense.
Yeah. So he said, okay. So it's not so much that they don't respect you.
I think it could be both, but I think you really have to be careful. I think you can't blanket that statement. I think it's intentional. It depends on the person.
I got you.
And the situation.
Was the boundary set? Right? Because if the line was drawn, and I said, don't cross this line, but you a habitual line stepper, now I'm taking it personally disrespectful because I said this was the line. Right? We talked about this line. Right? Okay, first time you tripped, right? Okay, I get it. Your feet was a little slippery. It was cold outside. I understand. It's like ice. Don't do it again. Right. You keep tripping over this fucking line. Okay, we're going to have a problem. Now I'm taking it personal because we've had this conversation.
Right.
That's real. That's real.
Exactly.
So, talking to the person, they keep stepping over the line. You gotta draw it again, brother.
Or cut them off.
Right, absolutely.
I'm sorry. I mean, as an adult, I feel like as an adult, there's but so much talking we should have to do.
Right.
Respect don't take that much work, as long as you have an understanding. If we've made it clear, we set those boundaries, then it's clear why are we still having this argument, why are we still having this conversation. And
real quick, just with that, some people stay so closed that, all right, you got to figure out how long do I want to fight a brick wall?
Right.
Because you're not going to open. You're not going to see things my way. Listen, there are mothers and sons who, and fathers and daughters who have spent years without talking because one was so close to the other's decisions.
Right.
All right. Sometimes that's what it takes. I got to remove myself from that negative energy because I can't keep shrinking myself. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So,
Well, go ahead. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up for our first show tonight on AO. It's 9:58. And we gotta wrap this up. Any last words before we your words of advice for tonight's topic? Are you open or why you're open? Let's go ahead and give the people some last words or something to take with them tonight.
So my last words would be, I think you guys should invest on being open and really take a look at yourself and see. Think about that title. Are you open? Are you open to grow? Are you open to learn? Are you open to understand? Are you open to change? Maybe so. Or are you open to step the hell away? Right? So it goes a different way. So think about the title of the show. Not just the title of the show, but it could be a way of life possibly. So think about that.
Ayo. I agree with you, Corey. To be open to it. Not just to change. Open to your truth. Open to your truth. Because like you said something, like we already know, but we just don't want to own it. We want it to change. So, but in order for it to change, you have to first acknowledge it. So, are you open? Be open to your truth first. Be open to other people's truth because it may not be yours, and that's okay. The funny thing is, when me and my boo was reconciling, my bishop actually told me. My bishop was actually saying, Nelly, allow him to love you the way he's going to love you, because it may not look like what you think it should look like, but you have to be open to what he's giving you and to see where it can go. And that really stuck with me. And I was just like, okay, I'm open. So now when I see certain things, instead of me being Nelly and being all like, well, why you? I stop. And I just sit back and I embrace it for what it is.
As you should.
Right. But
You're
I have to be
hard
open.
ass.
I'm not hard. I just have,
Here's the thing. The brother got you making tuna fish and shit. Jarrell, what's up?
Last words past tuna fish. Okay.
It's a fact. She wasn't doing that shit 6 months ago.
Just the same, just understand what makes you open, understand what you're open to, know your boundaries, and know what your growth points are. Right. If you don't know, then you can't expect anybody else to, nor can you convey it. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
hey yo. So meet us here next week, same time, same place, right here on the Hottest Live Radio. your new show, the Are You Open show.
Yeah.
Ayo, Are You Open? Where you're not a victim.
You're a volunteer.
There you go.
Absolutely.
The invigorating conversation. We'll see y'all next week. Have a great week. And remember,
see y'all next week.
Stay open.
Please do.
Ayo.